Muhammad Ali, the GOAT. LeBron James, the GOAT. Serena Williams, the GOAT? Excuse me, why is there a question mark there? Serena Williams is the GOAT of all GOATs. I mean, this is the kind of ridiculousness that we as women have to deal with our entire lives. Can you win 23 Grand Slams? I don't think so. What will she have to do to be called the GOAT? Next time, maybe she'll have twins and win a Grand Slam. Then there'll be no debate. Serena Williams, the GOAT, had what could have been her 24th Grand Slam title turned into a major L at the US Open. Williams was charged with 3 code violations and was fined for each one. Receiving coaching, smashing her racket, and verbal abuse, cause she called the umpire a thief. And that $10,000 was the largest fine the US Open has ever seen. This all happened at a critical moment in the match against Naomi Osaka, a Haitian-Japanese woman. It was pretty much a wrap after that. Williams went on to claim the penalties against her were due to sexism.
There are men out here that do a lot worse because I'm a woman. Because I'm a woman, you're gonna take this away from me?
I'm no sports analyst, but I thought that losing your cool and arguing with the refs is a part of the game, unless you're a woman. Since we're talking about tennis, let's keep it 100. It's a white man's sport. For the past 100 years, white men wrote and carried out the rules of the USTA. While interstate tennis tournaments for black folks were created as early as the 1890s, the first black person wasn't allowed to play in the US Nationals until 1950. Her name was Althea Gibson, and she went on to be the first black winner of a Grand Slam title. Believe it or not, before Gibson was even allowed to step foot on said court, she was forced to take a chromosome test to prove that she wasn't a man. What? And over half a century later, Williams has been publicly demeaned, body shamed, and it was even said that she was born a man. Not to mention that this year alone, Serena was drug tested twice as much as other American women players. There's obviously something so intimidating about the strength and prowess of black women who are athletes that folks bring into question their womanhood and their integrity. But beyond the hating-ass haters, let's talk about some of the sexist practices of tennis. No catsuit for Serena. It's been banned. Williams was called disrespectful, and the head of the French Tennis Federation is going to enforce a dress code. And don't forget that all Grand Slams end with the men's single final, because save the best for last. And how about the number of sets? In Grand Slams, men play 5 sets while women can only compete over 3 sets. This fewer sets rule makes it easier for folks like Novak Djokovic to fix their lips to say women in tennis deserve to be paid less than men, a comment that he's since retracted. But when breaking down the numbers, Williams actually does get paid less. The 36-year-old has won 23 Grand Slams with career winnings of nearly $86 million, whereas Roger Federer, also 36, has won 20 Grand Slams and has career winnings of $117.5 million. Wait, he has 3 less Grand Slams than Serena, but's getting paid $30 million more? Something's not adding up. Please believe that this wage gap is present in other sports like basketball, where NBA players make 100 times more than their counterparts in the WNBA. There's sexism in the way that media chooses to cover sports too. A 25-year analysis found that media coverage of women's sports are less frequent and less varied, and the coverage that we're getting is flat out boring. Researchers call this gender bland sexism. This form of sexism can create a belief that women in sports are less interesting, which could limit ratings, ticket sales, and pretty much creates a cycle of lower pay and unequal treatment of women in sports. Thanks to gender bland sexism, the bag is not secure. From what we wear to the coin we receive, how we're covered in the media, and even how we express emotion on the court, if you told me that tennis had a woman problem, I'd believe you.